Hey guys, from part one, I laid out what historical materialism is, which is Marx's methodological approach to studying and observing the present and also the past. Historical materialism is a frame to view through to organize how society manages material needs and maintains its development. I also illuminated three binary or class oppositions, which were the slaves versus the slave owners, the serfs versus the landowners, and now the working class or the proletariat class versus the capitalist class or the bourgeoisie class. There is a massive tension between these class oppositions. We, the 99%, or the proletariat class, have resentment against the 1%, or the bourgeoisie class. We, the proletariat class, have consciousness that the inequality, power, and control that the 1% have is unjust. And what Marx tells us is that the bourgeoisie class, since they have so much power, influence, control over money, assets, and means of production, that the bourgeoisie set contemporary ideologies, which the working class follows. So, popular ideologies of the time and the modes of production of the time change throughout time. We do not believe or have the same ideologies as we did in 1950s or the Roaring 20s. Society, its consciousness grows and becomes aware of different societal, political, economic inequalities, and these get changed throughout time. However, we're still maintaining the same mode of production, which is capitalism, similarly to back then in the 1920s or the 1950s. Marx and his pale angles writes how when we view history on a macro or a zoomed out scale, we notice the struggle between the lower class and the higher class. The lower class is trying to work against the higher class to get more freedoms. So if we look back through time, we can see social movements. If we look back in time, we can view social movements to end discrimination or social movements where women wanted the right to vote. They worked against popular ideologies of that time, against the higher class, to gain these political rights. What I'm trying to say is that the bourgeoisie is so powerful that it could and it does influence the way society is and how it is structured. So the bottom line is we come together to get the attention of the ruling class to change any injustice we choose to focus our efforts on. Now we're going to continue to think in binaries, to also think about what Marx calls the base and the superstructure. Similar to how society is in constant motion and changing, as society and its consciousness expands, the struggle between the working class and the higher class resolves. Marx writes about how the base gives rise to his concept called the superstructure. Similarly to how the working class enables the higher class to achieve more financial wealth, power, because the higher class exploits the working class while the working class trades their time for wages, and the higher class makes a surplus off of exploiting the working class. The base of how society is structured gives rise, or makes possible, the superstructure. The base is composed of the productive forces, remember, technology, communication technologies, and then society, its relations of production, the way that necessities are created and distributed, the current form of technology and communication determine the base of society. The superstructure is the cultural formation of society, such as institutions, political systems, giving rise to the state in our educational system, where people take on specific political and societal roles. Our education and our administrations, the way that we get water, electricity, and cable television is all determined by the means of production. The base and the superstructure is in constant motion as it changes because of the change in social consciousness. As society gains more consciousness, the base changes and the superstructure then changes. Marx thought that the way that society is organized determines human consciousness. This is an important and fascinating topic. Does our society determine what we believe, or determine our identities or who we are? Let us think for a moment. Consider me. I'm from an American middle-class family. I've always lived in America. My consciousness is composed of typical common sense of an American. I have the belief systems of an American. I believe in freedom of speech and religion. I'm fluent only in English and write in English. And since I live in the 21st century, I believe that all women should be able to vote and that schools should allow any type of student in regardless of their skin color. However, if I was alive in the 1920s or throughout the 1950s, if I publicly announced my views that I have now, I would have faced bullying, social ostracism, and shunning. Similarly to how gay people still face social ostracism and shunning. But they're starting to get more freedom. The way that society is structured and the way that we think society should be changes throughout time. Consider American television shows, such as Modern Family or Glee, which are normalizing gay people and changing social consciousness. We will inevitably see society changing. We'll eventually see the base and the superstructure inevitably change throughout time. So we are in a process. We are a part of history and we are also changing it. So that's pretty cool. I hope that this video series is very educational for you. I hope that you please subscribe or leave a comment or like the video. I hope to speak with you soon. If I can help you at all, please let me know. My name is Helen, and this is from nudeanswers.com. Have a great day.